Please give a very warm welcome to Anne, whose incredible acting skills on stage can only be met by her acts of generosity off stage.
Thank you for having me here tonight. I've always enjoyed the late night talk show and I'm honored to be invited as a guest.
Humble as always, Anne. As we all know, Anne has been in many movies. Many of us are still talking about your marvelous performance in one of the biggest blockbusters of the century, Two Wings of a Bird.
Two Wings of a Bird was actually my debut movie. I guess time really flies. Sometimes I can't believe that it's been 25 years since I started my career.
Yes, that movie was definitely a big hit and remains one of the best blockbusters of the decade. Fast forward to now, you're not only a huge celebrity, but also a philanthropist and prominent figure in fundraising and charity work. Can you tell us about when your passion for charity work began?
That's a long story. When I had my first taste of fame, it got into my head and I thought I was better than everyone else. I looked down on others and was very harsh with my words. If I could turn back time, I would go back to that very moment and change the way I was back then. But of course, that's impossible.
Oh, may I ask what happened exactly?
Oh, I was a nightmare to deal with. I would pick on the tiniest details and get angry when the smallest mistake was made. People who made mistakes in front of me would really have no room for argument.
Wow, seeing you now, I really can't imagine that. What exactly changed all of this?
At the time, I was shooting a movie in a fairly remote area, and it was during winter. Our days were very long and it was very tiring since the shooting conditions were very harsh. My manager at the time accidentally booked the hotel for the wrong dates, and the whole production crew and I had to stay in a cheap motel since the hotel was fully booked. Maybe it was the cold weather that made me feel impatient, or perhaps it was because I thought I was doing the right thing. I felt that I had to stand up for the crew who all suffered the cold weather with me. I was furious at my manager and spoke very disrespectfully to him at the time. Little did I know that his mother just passed away due to cancer, and he couldn't even get off work until the shooting was done. After that incident, I felt really bad and regretted my reactions very much. I thought I was being considerate towards the production team, but I ended up hurting my manager.
Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. That must have been a huge turning point for you.
Yes, it left a deep impression on me, and I realized that it wasn't just me putting in all of the effort. In everything that happens, there are so many causes and conditions involved. I thought I was the most hardworking and knowledgeable one, and then hence everyone had to listen to me. That was such an egoistic point of view.
Well, would you say that this was what compelled you to give back to the community?
Well, over the years, I've realized that my success is only possible because of the effort of countless others supporting me. My success was never mine alone to begin with. And I'm just doing my best to give it back to the society, I have a simple rule to follow, that is to share happiness to those who are around me, give help to those who are in need, and rejoice with others who are doing good.
Does this rule apply to everyone around you? I mean, it must be difficult to be kind towards those who have hurt you in the past.
That's a good question. I have been practicing equanimity recently. It really teaches me about remaining stable in the midst of everything, treating our friends, strangers, and even enemies with kindness, which is not something easy to do.
Well, that's definitely easier said than done.
I agree. Until today, sometimes I would still be impatient or ignorant to others, but over time, I have learned to have compassion for more people, to those who I know or don't know, and even to those who I have conflict with.
And which part of this equanimity practice do you think is the most challenging, especially in your philanthropy work?
For me, the toughest part is to find a balance between my desire to help as many people as possible and the limit of the situation, since every project that I work on is very different. Let me give you an example. In one of the early food charity events that I co-organized, I was so driven to gather as many volunteers and as much food as possible that I ended up having way too much food. We tried giving out the food to more people, but unfortunately, there was still some that went to waste.
Oh, it sure doesn't sound like a bad thing to me. I mean, your actions and intentions were still to help people in need.
Yes, however, I was not skillful in managing my emotions and balancing the causes and conditions. The more I practice, I've learned that equanimity requires both wisdom and compassion. And through experience, I'm able to slowly avoid being carried away by my thoughts and emotions. I hope that one day I can offer my help to everyone with a peaceful mind and spread kindness without discrimination.
Beautifully said. That was an incredible story, and thank you again for sharing it with us tonight.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thanks again for having me here tonight.
Let's give it up once again for our wonderful guest Anne. And don't forget to catch her in her next major blockbuster, The Fading Ripple, coming to your nearest cinema on the 9th of October.